Hey guys, and welcome back to Game and Watch and Learn. My name is Met, and in this episode we're going to be going over the changelog from Project M 2.5b to 2.6. Also in this episode, I'm going to be experimenting with a little bit of a different style. I'm going to be trying to do it all in one take with no editing, and we'll see how it goes. Let me know. I'd like to start off this video just by saying that these changes are not the official changelog. This is just what the Game & Watch boards have found so far. We don't know if we might have missed something or if we might not have something quite right. But this is as far as we know, most of the changes, probably, maybe all of them. But definitely we need to go ahead and get started. There's a lot of changes to go over. The first one, the most obvious one probably, is the change to chef. It now has a random chance of getting giant meat to come out. This is a change that the Game & Watch boards we didn't really expect, because it wasn't something that we really requested or anything. It's kind of just a change that adds a little bit of a quirk to his moves. Basically, the giant meat does a lot more knockback, it does a lot more hit stun, and it does a lot more damage. All of that kind of something we're not really sure how to practically use quite yet. It may be something that we find some good uses for later on, but since it's something we didn't expect, not really sure. Okay, the next big change, of course, is going to be to his judgment hammer. It now has these dots that appear above the numbers there. The dots are a hint to whether or not the next number is going to be odd or even. So 1 represents odd, and 2 represents even. So the next one has to be even. There you go, it was an 8. This reduces the guessing game on judgment quite a bit, and gives him something to look forward to when he knows kind of what's going to happen. This system also pairs with the old system where he had, the last 2 numbers were null. So he could not get whatever the last 2 swings were. So let's see, we have a 4 and a 3, and the next one's going to be odd. So the 4 not really matter, but the next one cannot be a 3, and it has to be odd. So that means that it has to be either a 1, a 5, a 7, or a 9. So what do we get? We get a 9, and now it's odd again. That was a 1 dot, and that means that it can't be a 3 or a 9, because the one before it was a 3, and we get a 5. So there you go. That's how the system works. One thing to note is that it doesn't affect the likelihood of any one number. You still basically have a 1 in 9 chance of getting every number. You can't just randomly swing and hope for a 9. There are 72 different setups for this, so you can't just spam it until you get something that you want. You can't be like, okay, that was a no 1 odd, okay, but you still could get a 3, 5, 7, or 9. And one other thing to it that's important is the fact that the odds and the evens are different, because there are 4 evens, but there are 5 odd numbers available. So your best odds with an odd number are 1 in 3, whereas your best odds with an even number are 50-50. So there's never going to be a great chance of getting a 9. Alright, so let's move on, talk about a few more minor changes. The first one we're going to talk about is the nerf that he actually got to his forward tilt. Game & Watch's forward tilt does 13 damage when you hit it, and as most people know by now, it does massive knockback and a pretty low angle. But now it has a small nerf where the late hit of forward tilt does 8 damage and a much easier to cope with angle. I can't really show you it, but you just have to see it. The forward tilt nerf is more of a way to give you less reward for just spamming this move, and kind of make it a little bit more of a tactical maneuver instead of just kind of throwing it out to edge guard and hoping they run into it. The next change is going to be a small buff to his dash attack. His dash attack normally does 9 damage and kind of sends you a little bit behind him, but now the early hit of dash attack does 10 damage. No matter where you hit, you're always going to get the 10 damage right at the start. It also drags you forward with Game & Watch, and this serves as a buff to his Gatling combos. So now he can get that 10 damage hit and immediately cancel it in a grab and not have to worry about you flying behind him and missing the grab. He can also do it with his up smash, and get a higher chance of you following along with him and getting hit by the up smash. This doesn't affect the rest of the move at all. The part where he can still run at you and kind of hit you with the later hit of it and cancel it into another attack is still there. So that's still good, but it just allows him to get this Dacus off a little bit better. So that's good. Moving on from that is a little bit of a more obvious change, and that's to his forward smash. His forward smash now has multiple hitboxes that come out. The first one is the same as it's always been, 18 damage, massive knockback. But the later hits do at first 10 damage apiece, and then at the very end of it, just 8 damage. And the 8 damage hit comes out starting when, as you can see, the flame kind of gets a little bit smaller there. That's when the 8 damage hit comes out. That 8 damage is actually reduced from before. It used to do much more damage and knockback. So this change is also kind of like the forward tilt, designed to give you more reward. This time more reward for hitting it early, because you can get the multiple hits to come and hit each other for more damage, but it also gives you less reward for hitting it late. Okay, and the next change we got is to his down air. This change I'm a big fan of. I like it because it's really dynamic and allows for a lot of new things. It basically has a lot less lag at the end of it. He can end it much sooner than he could before, which means that now, just out of a double jump down air, he can do things like Waveland, or he can chef cancel it into other things. So it allows for a lot of dynamic pressure, because when he does this down air kind of above somebody, it does put a lot of pressure on them because they can't jump. They have to try to figure out how to move away, and that gives Game & Watch the opportunity. Now it will end early enough that he can kind of react to what you do, and maybe he can like wave dash forward and pursue you, or he can if you shield, he can like chef cancel and try to grab you. Like I said, I really like this change. I think it's gonna just add a little bit to his metagame and give him something solid to fall back on when he's trying to pressure his opponent. The next change is another change I can't really show you. It's a buff to his tech rolls. They're now a little bit faster and a little bit more reliable. This is a great change, a much needed change, because before, his tech chases or tech rolls were probably the worst in the game. His tech rolls were so slow that most characters who could put him in a hard knockdown could basically just wait and see what he does and then react to whether or not he went left or right. There was no real chase involved. It was just a matter of reacting to what he did. But now they're a little bit faster, which gives a few characters a harder time just reacting. They have to kind of predict now, so that's a great change. The next change is a buff to his throws. The Game & Watch boards have known for a long time that every single one of Game & Watch's throws had a little hint. They all animated slightly differently, but now they all look exactly identical. So there's no way for your opponent to kind of react to what you're doing and DI a certain way. They have to make a guess, and your three angled throws, your forward throw, up throw, and back throw have a lot higher chance of getting a nice chase reaction. You can just know what's going on, but they don't. So if they have to make a guess, you can kind of force a situation on them. And a subtle part of this change, though, is that the forward throw used to launch from the front, but now it launches from the back. This has the effect of giving his forward throw a kind of a small little tech chase. I believe with DI this is not guaranteed, but what it can do is what it does do is send the opponent much higher than what the up throw does, so that way it will force them onto the ground. It will spend a little bit more time so Game & Watch can kind of get in position and kind of make reads a little bit better. So that's a great little small buff that'll help him, especially against like fast ballers. Okay, and the last change is the kind of like a secret change, a really a hard one. I'm surprised we found this one. Basically, Game & Watch has the ability to choose between doing the random bacon, or he can force a high bacon or force a low bacon by pressing up or down after pressing D. So basically, you can see the bacons are kind of all going in about the same angle because I'm forcing them to go low here, or I can force them to go high. These are great because you're at less of a mercy of just randomness. You can kind of throw these out there and know what angles are being covered. You know, you can cover a little bit lower, or you can cover really high with the bacon now. Another change that you can do with this is you can now force the opponent to recover in a certain spot, because you can cover an area with bacon and then kind of chase a spot. So all these changes are really great. I hope they lead to a lot more people respecting Game & Watch and maybe picking him up for all of his like unique features. That's all of them. I hope you like this video, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.